What's going on, Wolves and Warriors? My name's Jay Stewart, and this is the Better Body Academy podcast, the #1 show for those looking to permanently overhaul their mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. We banish the fitness industry BS and replace it with science-backed strategies proven through countless client transformations. In the Better Body Academy, we help busy men and women around the world get unstuck and back into momentum so they start feeling strong and sexy again. Our mission is to transform 1 million lives, and you, my friend, could be next. And on that note, let's get straight into today's show. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Of course, there is another way to go about your transformation, and that's what we talk about in this podcast. Now, today, guys, we're going to be talking about the concept of wealth. Wealth with a W-E-L-L-T-H. So wealth encompassing wellness front and central in your journey. Now, firstly, I wanted to welcome a number of people inside of our Better Body Academy that started last week in the Academy. Super warm welcome to you guys, and especially to the couples that joined our crew. Very, very, very cool. You know what? Transformation is so much easier when you've got your partner on your side. So I don't know, maybe I need to do a podcast in the future which discusses how to actually get your partner on board your transformation. What we're going to be doing in this episode, however, is looking at the concept of wealth. This is coming off the back of a masterclass that I ran last week for ladies only to discuss how to build abundance, not just in finances, but also in your health and wellness entirely. It's this idea of becoming truly wealthy in your life, and what does that involve? So the first question that I want to ask you in this podcast is, what does wealth mean to you? If I said to you, okay, tell me what wealth is to you. And I don't want you to speak in kind of cliches. I just want to know, and you can let me know if you're watching live in the comments, but I want to know what wealth means to you. Do you think of it as being financially stable? Do you think of it as having health? Like, what is it to you? Now, the reason I'm asking you this question is to try to invoke you to actually think about what it actually is that you're trying to build here. What your legacy that you're trying to create is. The reason I ask this question is, for me at the moment, I feel an incredible amount of gratitude for doing what I get to do. And I popped a post up the other day talking about this, where I feel wealthy. I feel wealthy because I'm in alignment with what I'm trying to achieve in my life. I think the challenge that a lot of people struggle with is that they understand how to define their own financial goals. Okay, so they understand wealth from a financial perspective. But wealth, in terms of wellness, is multidimensional. It contains more than just financial health. You know, if we're just looking at this concept and saying, I'll be happy when I achieve this, we're really, really going to struggle in terms of our happiness. So the way I think about wealth and building wellness is from different components: a spiritual component, an emotional component, an occupational component, which a lot of people don't put any value on that at all, a physical component, a sexual component, a mental component. You see, becoming a wealthy woman or man is far more than just accumulating a whole lot of money. How many people that you know have a good sum of money, you'd consider them, wealthy, but they're miserably unhappy? And then equally, you find other people that are, not living by a whole lot of cash, but are super happy and seem to be operating in a different land of kind of where they view themselves. And I think one of the reasons that we get confused here is because we're able to define financial health, but we are unable to define what wellness looks like to us in all of those other areas. It's hard to focus on something if you have no idea what it looks like. It's hard to move towards something if you have no idea what you're trying to move towards. Often your ideas are shaped only by what you see and experience yourself. This is why it's important to be surrounded by people that inspire you and set a benchmark. We talk about joining a mastermind. The reason that you join a mastermind is because it scares you and because it's going to help you level up. If you were already at that level, then you wouldn't be leveling up. That would be your level. So the goal is to try to first define what you actually want, what wellness looks like to you. And then on top of that, put yourself in the crowd of people that you think are wealthy. Now, I want you to think about the last time you started something big. Okay, it might have been a new job, it could have been a new relationship, it could have been a weight loss journey. Did you start from a feeling of abundance and excitement? Or were you driven into that journey by fear and lack? What do I mean by that? So this idea of I'm not enough, I'm a fat so-and-so, I need change, I feel poor and I have to do something. I ask this question because if you are entering with I have to, not I get to, you're stuck before you even start. One is a very disempowered scarcity mindset. The other is an empowered, grateful state of mind. Do you see the difference? I'm starting my transformation in whatever it is that you're wanting to transform because I have to. That's a very broke, scarce mindset. If you approach any change in your life with an empowered, I get to, that's a wealthy growth mindset to which you're approaching things. People are motivated by both pleasure and pain to different degrees, right? So most of us act to avoid pain. That's where most people come from when they're trying to improve their life. Think about that. How inspiring is it if your goal is to avoid having a heart attack, so that's why you're starting a transformation? Imagine that your goal is to avoid getting sacked at work or avoid going broke, and that's the motivation for going to work. Or the only reason that you turn up for your partner is because you want to avoid them walking out on you. This is the same way so many people approach any transformation of their lives. They're doing it because they have to. They're operating from a paradigm which is lack. And when you operate from a paradigm which is lack, it feels like you're running in mud. This is not the feeling of wealth. This is not the feeling of wealth. This is the feeling of lack. I want to try to put that against a different angle. If you are coming from a perspective of being driven by the pleasure and the goodness and the wealth that is available to you, by creating gratitude about what you get to do, about creating happiness that you're getting back into momentum in your life, are you more likely to be successful than if you're coming from a place of lack and poorness, of scarcity? Of course you're going to be driven. I get to be active. I get to eat beautiful food. I get to come home to a partner who's awesome. Imagine how good it feels being a healthy or fit man or woman, as opposed to someone that goes to the gym. They go to the gym because they have to go to the gym. No, I'm a healthy guy. I'm a healthy girl. That's what I do. That creates this feeling of empowerment and abundance that never leaves you. One of the most beautiful things that I personally get to do each week is be part of a community that's helping to push me forward. And I receive these messages and they're just such beautiful messages, and it keeps me in alignment and feeling like I'm wealthy. Yesterday, I got a message off one of my clients saying, "Hey mate, I just come back from the doctor. I told him about the academy. I showed him the results and he said, whatever you're doing, it's worth every cent. And I just wanted to share that with you. Like, when you're getting stuff like that coming to you, because you're not coming at it from a perspective of lack, you're coming at a perspective of wealth and abundance and empowerment. I get to do this, not I have to do that. You're operating in a totally different paradigm. So, if you are coming from this angle, if you have approached your Monday, Tuesday morning with a lack mindset, I want you to try one of these 5 things to potentially go about your results a little bit differently. These are 5 ways that you can start to adopt a wealthy mindset, an empowered mindset, not being driven by the old lack, the old pain, the old disempowered environment. Number 1, we've been talking about it in this podcast. Reframing, I have to I get to. That's all I want you to do. From now on, for the rest of this week, not I have to get up tomorrow morning to go to the gym. I have to get up tomorrow morning to do a home workout. No. I get to get up tomorrow morning and do a home workout. I get to get up tomorrow morning and be part of the Better Body Academy. I get to get up tomorrow morning and pull myself out of bed with a roof over my head. I get to speak to my daughter in the morning. This is what it's about. You get to do these things. You never know what you have until you don't have it anymore. So coming up and waking with some level of power over what you get to do. There's a lot of things here that take a lot of energy that I do on a daily basis. Preparing meetings, coaching clients, doing podcasts. If I approach this with oh man, I have to get on and do that podcast. Is that going to come through? Of course it's going to come through in the energy. I get to do this podcast. I get to have, at the moment, a bunch of people that listen in on the podcast, either live or on replay or on Apple or on Spotify, and I get to have a voice. This is an empowered mindset to be coming into. Number 2, get into a community, a closed container that allows you to be vulnerable. Get into a closed container that allows you to be vulnerable. This is going to help you work on your abundance. So when we're in these big open environments, right, like the entire world, how vulnerable or how growth orientated are you going to be when you're just in a fight to survive every day? When you're just living day to day, trying to, inverted commas, do your best. What about if you came into a closed environment? A closed environment where you're surrounding yourself with people who are leveling up. Would that help you? If you constantly feel like you're doing things on your own and you constantly fall off, ask why that might be. Do you think that possibly could be because, change is hard when you're by yourself? Of course it is. It's super difficult. Imagine you woke up and you're surrounded by 100, 200 other men and or women who were all on the same journey as you. So that's number 2. Get into a community which empowers you. Number 3, spend 1 minute a day acknowledging what could it possibly be. Okay? For me, this morning, I got up, I got to go to the gym. And when I got to go to the gym, I come back home and I got to dive in the pool with my daughter for 2 minutes. We played around in the pool for literally 2 minutes. I got back out, gave her back to mum, and I said to her, how good is it that we get to do that? Now, maybe you don't get to do that. Maybe your get to do is something different. But by acknowledging that thing, I then get to start my day from a really, really great perspective. I got to get on to our coaches this morning and have a great team call. I got to do that. I had gratitude for that. So that's number 3. Spend a minute identifying something that you are grateful to have. Number 4 of 5, quit the comparison games. These comparison games are something that we all get lured into. We try to compare against the bloke across the road, the bloke that I know, my friend, my cousin, my brother, my sister, and we try to compare against this. What impact do these people have on your life? Comparing against arbitrary reference points that have nothing to do with you. And nor do you know whether they are on credit, all the new cars and the new housing and all that. You have no grounding for which to compare against other people. And so if you feel poor as a result of watching what everyone else is doing and saying, why don't I have that? You're comparing it against something that, one, you don't know how that was purchased, but number two, it's an arbitrary point in your life. It's useless in your life to compare against someone else. How do you value health? That's what's more important. How do you value abundance? Doesn't matter what he or she does. Number 5, what are you doing right now to grow? I've tried to keep these 5 points very, very simple. What are you doing right now to grow? Have you been still? Have you come to a sluggish slide for a month, a year, 2 years, a decade? What can you do to get back into momentum and start growing as a human again? This creates an incredible feeling of wealth. In the same way that one might accumulate money, I feel like when we accumulate knowledge, we become more and more empowered. We're better able to change our circumstances because we develop the mindset and the abundance to be able to change. So, I'm going to hit these 5 things for you again. We reframe I have to I get to as a privilege. Number 2, you need to get into a community, a closed container, like the Better Body Academy that supports you to be vulnerable. Number 3, you need to spend 1 minute, that's it, 1 minute each day, identifying one thing you're grateful that you get to do each day. Number 4, quit the comparison games. These comparison games against arbitrary reference points where you don't know the full circumstances, you need to stop that. The comparisons are the thief of joy. And number 5, ask yourself, what are you doing right now to grow your life, to grow your mind? What are you doing right now? If the answer to that is, I'm not really, well, that's cool. Awareness is the first step. So now, what could you do? Do you want to start a personal transformation? Do you want to do a course? Do you want to train for a marathon? Do you want to meet some new friends? Do you want to start doing more things that you enjoy more? Whatever the case, there is getting into momentum and moving forward in the direction you want to go, regardless of the speed, is the key. Guys, in this episode, we've been talking about how to build wealth, not just financial wealth, but abundance in our life. It's really funny that all of a sudden, when you start to come from a place of abundance, opportunity, and good things, including financial wealth, seem to come to you with less resistance. They call this the law of attraction. I don't necessarily know exactly how that works, but it's almost that once you tune your mindset into the frequency of I am enough, I've got enough, and I will attract this to me, things change. I'd love you to reach that feeling. Guys, we're going to leave it there. This has been the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets, unsustainable workout programs, and of course, the lack mindset that we've been discussing in this podcast. I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next episode. Wolves and Warriors, thank you so much for tuning in. If this podcast is hitting the mark for you and giving you the confidence to start your own personal journey, I want you to hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy. I want to give you the tools to permanently overhaul your mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Our mission is to achieve 1 million lives transformed, and you, my friend, could be next. So hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy, and we can have a chat about whether we can help you with your transformation goals.